welcome back to TARTLEcast.
What is up?
I want to talk about something that I'm starting to refine this thought in my mind here, and I think this needs to be shared. And I want to start with this baseball bat analogy. Fortune 500 companies they'll spend $100,000 on a data report.
Right.
Okay, in the hopes that it brings them 10 to 100x ROI. So if I'm spending $100,000 on this thing, I want $1 million in return for whatever my business or service is. And what a lot of them has found is that if they're buying this $100,000 baseball bat, just consider that, right? Because you want to crank this thing right over the end of the wall, whatever the
outfield, yeah.
The outfield. You want to crank it over the outfield, and this thing's going to be a home run. You want to send that thing out of the stadium every single time.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're looking for. We want unicorns. We want unicorn ideas. But what they found is that every time they take a smack with that bat, they've been paying for paint. Okay? They've been paying for someone to burn in their own brand logo into the wood. But at the base of all of these bats, everything, if I strip away the paint, the color, the looks, the grip tape, the logo, there's only one thing in there that does the job in the end. And that's the bat itself.
Right.
It's the core. It's the fundamentals. It's the thing that actually matters, that causes the physics of that ball to be returned so far out that you don't see it anymore. And then when you go to get it, you had to take so many steps because you realize you have launched yourself so far ahead of everybody else. You brought in those 3 runs. You landed that game. It's done at that point. What we want to talk about and make sure is abundantly clear to these people that spend the money on these reports, to these businesses, is that we hear you. We understand you spend a pretty penny. We understand that you want to be successful. And we understand that everybody is going to be trying to pick your pockets for every dime you have because they know you have all the dimes. So we want to come here and we want to offer you a different bat. We want to offer you a bat that has no paint. We want to offer you a bat that has no logo because this isn't about us. We just want to offer you a tool that we can guarantee every single time will allow you to crank out those home runs. Nail those out into the outfield. And I want you to take the long walk to see how far you've made that distance every single time. And I want you to swing that bat with so much surety that you know the absolute core of where that has been milled, where that bat has been sourced from, that wood, that asset for you, you know it intimately. So much that when you place your hands on it and you swing, it becomes a connection of who you are. It becomes an extension of your company. And it's not someone else throwing their brand on you to ride off of your brand and your goodwill. This is to create an extension of who you are. This is not for us. So when you go to look at Tartle and you try to sum us up just through the words you hear or what you see on camera, I got to tell you that you cannot sum us up unless you have tried this for yourself. Unless you truly know through experience what this is. And I can assure you that you will be shocked at what you find about how raw and how truthful the information, this asset, can be received and used within your power to keep knocking those home runs out of the park. But always remember that you will never know unless you experience. You'll never be able to say that, I'm not really sure about this value. I'm not sure I want to try it. Go ahead and try it. Swing the bat, even if you miss. But that one time when you actually connect with that ball, because you figured out how to articulate this tool properly, that is when you start hitting home runs all day long. That is when you know that experience, and that is the moment when you can sum us up. That's when you can put us in comparison with everybody else out there.
So I want to ask you this. Whenever we look at these reports, because this is interesting to me, because you brought up, people paying, lots of money for reports and them getting this data. And then from there, they're making these decisions based off of a collective hunch or whatever it may be from the boardroom. The smoke and mirror side. And I know that you're talking about when you're making the analogy with the bat, but the smoke and mirror side. And then if it's not going to be good data, at least it looks good. And then we can, it may not change us, give us a 10x ROI. It may keep it the same. but at least it made everybody feel good.
Is
You
that
know
what
what I
it's all
mean?
about? Is it about feeling good? Is it about walking up, to the plate and having the biggest bat? But then when you swing it, you can barely get it off the ground. The ball's going to go in a million different directions. Or is it about having something so sharp, so articulate, so focused, so agile and flexible that when you move, it moves with you? So that when you have a direction in your mind where you see the vision of your future, you have a bat that's going to bring you there. You have a tool that will beat that path forward for you at all costs. Or are you going to feel better about all the charts?
Yes.
Are you going to feel better about all the analysis and summaries that somebody else comes up with for you? And you did none of the thinking for your own. You did none of the sourcing for yourself. Someone sold you a new can of paint. That's what they gave you. Somebody gave you a new brand logo. Is that the thing that gets you over the fences? Not a chance. It's perfectly executed actions
Yes.
on the best possible information. That's what this boils down to. And you will never know what a perfectly effectuated action is until you do it with experience. So do not sum up a tool just at first base about what you have heard when you actually haven't swung the thing for yourself. So I would challenge you, as these people that have all these dimes, stop spending the money, $100,000 on that report. Come over here and use something that's actually going to bring you where you need to go.
I like that. Yes. So with me so I'm a Fortune 500 company. So I have a structure that's built. I have the stability that's in that and of its own identity. If you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So I'm a chief information officer, and I know that I have built it to the point to where there's safety. I don't want to take the risk to try something new.
Your whole company that your job is currently founded on, that didn't happen without risk. Didn't just magically appear through safety. Somebody had to take a risk. Before you got to this period of stable long-term growth at the size that you're at, there was a huge growth curve in the beginning, which took a lot of risk. And so you can either continue to smooth sail and shell out your dollars for junk and never feel the wind in your sails again like you first felt when those people initially took those risks, or you can choose to take on risk on something that is an absolute definitive fact. And that's a word coming from these people that are supporting your businesses or services, knowing for an absolute fact what they want to do next, what they want to buy next, what they want to see, seek, and feel next. And you will never know that if someone hands you a report and on the bottom of it, it says produced by them with their logo, their charts, their copyright. I'm telling you to use a tool where you can acquire things that you own, that you claim ownership to, that you can execute upon. Not look at a chart that makes you feel better. Because sitting there in a riskless environment that makes you feel better does not get your company anywhere. That is stagnation. That is a swamp. That is a place where things fester. That is a place where creativity goes to die. Your Fortune 500 needs to be Fortune number 1, not 500. Leave the group, leave the pack behind you. Find the experience of using that tool, using that bat, and then realize what you've been missing out on all along.
So, TARTLE, as a buyer of data, why is TARTLE so unique? I'm intrigued, but, and I can throw a little bit of money at TARTLE, just to see what it does and how it works. But why is it unique and different? And how is it going to help me for the future of my company, near term and far term?
Why is it unique? I'll tell you one right now. We're the only person doing what we do. That's the first stage of unique. And then the second one is we don't need to put our brand logo on the thing we're selling you. There's no reason to. We're just trying to help you connect with the people that allow your business to survive. If you're worried about your longevity, worry about the people that allow you to have longevity. You can take out loans all day long, but you got to pay them back sometime.
Mm-hmm.
That's not real longevity. Your longevity is in understanding the people that interact with your products and services. And the only way to understand them is to meet them where they are. We are your bridge to those people. And with that bridge, that's when resources, no matter the weight, can travel back and forth. No matter the size, no matter the value. And you have that surety of mind that in that connection, in that relationship built from one person on one side of the bridge to you on the other, you will be able to meet each other in the middle every single time. And that lasting relationship, well, that's what allow your company to have its own lasting longevity and value and goodwill into the future.
And it's ethical.
It has to be ethical. You've seen the errors of the past. You know it in your offices. You know it in your boardrooms. You just don't want to focus on it. And so now you don't have to talk about it. But I do offer you up the option to use a tool that is far more ethical than the practices you've been using in the past.
Right. No, I agree.
Let's leave the past where it was. Let's take a new step where we need to go.
So what would be the first step as a buyer of data in the sense of, I want to say this, the first step, how can I establish, this is really key for me as a buyer of data, how can I establish a relationship with TARTLE?
How do you establish a relationship with us?
I just don't want to go in there and buy data. I want to have a relationship,
No problem.
a long-term relationship.
The first thing you want to do is I want to hand you this baseball bat. I want you to look at it for a bit. Ponder. Oh, this is interesting. Let me look at the bells and whistles. Now that I've looked at it, what do I do with all these bells and whistles? How do I use this properly? I think I need to have a conversation with TARTLE about how I want to solve my current unknown. We're here to help. We don't have this exclusive thing where only certain people can talk to us. This was designed for you. This was not designed for us.
Mm-hmm.
We just knew you needed a better bat. And that's what we're handing you.
Yeah, and we don't have like salespeople or anything like that.
No,
where we're gonna,
this is not
this
selling.
This is not about us.
This is more of an awareness for yourself.
Yeah, we have educators.
Okay? So after I've handed you this tool, I need you to take some time, hopefully not too long because that'll only hurt you more in the end, but take some time to ruminate on what actually it is you want to know. And if you really figure out what you want to know in this world, you know exactly where you need to be headed. Call me. Email me. Let me eradicate that hunch. Let me eradicate bad ideas. Let me help you refine what truth looks like. And then from that, let me help you make that decision about where you should take that next step with your resources.